please give a warm welcome to Carlos Kotkin. Standing ovation already.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I feel like the show ended with all that. Thank you for sticking around. Some of you I know. Hi, guys. Thank you for being here. Most of you I don't, and if it wasn't for me, you'd be in your cars on your way home, so I appreciate you staying. Thank you. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I have a lot of stories about my penis, but I'm not gonna tell that tonight. I didn't get the memo. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. So anyway, it's wonderful to be here in Los Angeles. I've been here for quite some time. I came out here, gosh, in like 2000, maybe before that, last century. I came out here because I had a dream, and I thought I was special, and I thought I'm gonna come out to Los Angeles, and I'm gonna be a screenwriter. I had written a script, and I was sure that I would be an overnight success. So I made the epic journey all the way to Los Angeles from San Diego. And when I got here, I discovered that everybody in this room has written a screenplay. And so I realized the hard way, I wasn't gonna be an overnight success. It was gonna take at least 4 to 6 weeks. And then when I got to that point, 4 to 6 weeks, it was clear it was gonna take even longer. And so weeks turned into months, months turned into years, writing, and nobody cared. I had a stack of scripts, nobody cared. So I had to should I do an action shot? Yeah. I had to do odd jobs in the entertainment industry, and probably the oddest job I ever had was I watched DVDs for quality control purposes before they came out. This was in the time of DVDs, when DVDs were a thing. And so I would watch the first DVD, the master, and I would look for mistakes. And when I would tell people about this job, they would say, "Oh, did you ever find anything?" And I'd say, yes. Like, for example, on the DVD for Home Alone 1, it had audio from beginning to end of the movie Home Alone 2. And I caught that. I caught it, and I put that in the report. And so if anybody here has watched that DVD and enjoyed it, you're welcome. And so we had to look for those kind of mistakes, and we had to watch on any given disc. We had to watch the movie as many times as there were audio streams and subtitle streams, and we had to watch the movies a lot. For example, one day I went into work. The company was called Third Eye, and it was in Culver City. It still is. And I walked in there, and Guillaume, the project manager, said to me, "Good morning, Carlos. Today you'll be watching Dances with Wolves 6 times." Oh. So if you've never had the opportunity to watch Dances with Wolves 6 times in a row, I can tell you that it is a spiritual journey of self-discovery. First time you watch Dances with Wolves, it's fine. Kevin Costner, Tatanka means buffalo, it's fine. The second time you watch Dances with Wolves, you hear a voice in your head, and the voice whispers to you, "We just watched this." Seriously, we just saw this. Tatanka means buffalo, we got it. After you're done watching Dances with Wolves twice, you're actually feeling pretty good, because you only have to watch Dances with Wolves 4 more times, and then you'll be done. The third time you watch Dances with Wolves, you're furious, you're in a rage. You can't stand Kevin Costner. You're happy his marriages didn't work out. And then the fourth time you watch Dances with Wolves, you're sad because Kevin Costner's marriages didn't work out. And he's a person just like any of us, and he deserves love. And you're sad. And then the fifth time you watch Dance with Wolves, you watch it without your shirt on. You just take your shirt off for no reason other than to see if somebody will come into your mini screening room and discover you. And nobody will, because you're alone in the universe. It's just you and Dances with Wolves. And the sixth and final time you watch Dances with Wolves, you're strangely at peace. And you realize that you are suddenly fluent in the Lakota Sioux Native American language. Chumani tutankwa wachi. I'm serious. So, incredibly, Dances with Wolves is not my record for the most times I had to watch a movie at third eye. Passion of the Christ 17 times. Holy shit is right, yeah. It's not my record. Mission Impossible 2, 32 times. It's not my record. I went to Australia. I was on a tour bus years later. And as we were driving up the coast, the tour guide said, as we're driving, we're going to watch a movie that's set in Australia, Mission Impossible 2. And I just stood up. I just shot up in my seat. And I pointed at her like Harrison Ford. And I said, no, we are not. And so we watched Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Thank you. I had nothing to do with it. So my record, there's an animated feature called Rio about a blue parrot in Brazil that can't fly, and I had to watch that blue bird not fly 87 times. You may wonder why. I wondered why. Because when you got handed a disc, you got handed the disc for the United States, and you'd have to watch the movie 5, 6 times, however many times you had to watch it. And then they'd give you the disc for Mexico, and then Brazil, and all of the countries. But usually, Guillaume would mix it up. But for whatever reason, on Rio, he just kept, good morning, Carlos, today you're watching Rio. Good morning, Carlos, today you're watching Rio. Good morning, Carlos. And I'd be like, Guillaume, why do you hate me? Did I make you mad? What did I do? And he said, no, you're the most familiar with the disc now. So I think it makes sense for you to keep working on it. So I went around the world with the movie Rio. I watched it for every country, including Luxembourg, which that's like watching it for Atlantis. I don't even know where Luxembourg is, but I watched it for the people of Luxembourg. And for like a 3-week stretch of my life, all I did was eat, breathe, and sleep Rio. I would watch the movie Rio, and then I would go home and dream about the movie Rio. And then I would wake up and watch the movie Rio. For 3 weeks, just the music would pound in my head. All the birds of a feather, dun 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 dun. And I'd be like, how do I get out of this? This is horrible. I would rather clean out the colons of dead people than watch Rio. That would be like a trip to Maui. So I needed an escape, and to get away from Rio and all the other movies, as I'm still writing, and nobody cares. I start doing shows, just like as an outlet. I didn't even care if I did good or not. Who cares? I'm not watching Rio. And so I'd come on stage and tell people about all kinds of things. I talked about being an only child and growing up with chickens, so they were like my siblings. On the dating apps, my profile name was Chicken Whisperer, and I had a bunch of pictures of me walking a chicken around Santa Monica on a leash. And it didn't work. I talked about working for an actress on a movie before I was watching DVDs. I worked on a movie called Jimmy Hollywood, and I was an assistant to a Spanish actress named Victoria Brill. And her English wasn't perfect. I remember one super hot summer, like the one we just had, the days, she sat down in the Lincoln Town Car on the leather seat, and she had a really thin skirt, and it burned her behind, and she screamed out in English, "Ay, what strange happiness." So I talk about that. I talked about a blind date that I went on with a woman who was actually blind, who ended up not being attracted to me, which is fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. So I'm talking about all sorts of things and doing this job, and my stories that I'm telling suddenly start getting aired on the radio, on KCRW, on a show. Thank you, one person. A show called Unfictional airs a thank you, one person, and so that's cool because I'm still writing, nothing's happening, I'm watching DVDs, but at least people are hearing stories, my stories, while they're stuck in traffic and have no choice but to listen, and so that's encouraging. And then one day, as I'm watching Mr. Popper's Penguin for the umpteenth time, in my little mini viewing room, we were on a lounge chair and all this big TV and everything, I get a call, my phone rings, and it is from the president of 20th Century Fox feature film animation. And she heard my story about chickens on the radio. And she thought that I had a good writer's voice. My sensibilities might be a good match for a project that they were thinking about doing. She said, "We're considering doing a sequel to the movie Rio." And she asked me, "Have you seen the first one?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Okay, great. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put you on an airplane. I'm gonna fly you to New York. You're gonna sit down with the director and the producers of Rio 2. You're gonna kick around some ideas. And if they like you, you'll write the movie. If they don't, that's that. I can get you through the door, but I can't do anything beyond that." So I flew in business class, which was already a victory. I sat down with the director of Rio, also named Carlos. I told him nothing about working at Third Eye, but I was able to talk about the characters from Rio as if we worked at Olive Garden, as if they were family. Because they were family. So I talked about Blue and Jewel and Nigel and Nico and Pedro and everybody. I talked with such ultra confidence. And I wrote the movie Rio 2. Thank you. So that was my first movie, and my fourth movie comes out this year, and my fifth movie comes out in 2026. And that is how you become a Hollywood screenwriter. Thank you very much.
Carlos Kotkin.